So good morning. Today's our speaker is Dr. Hishkar. He is Associate Professor in TIT University, Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, Patiala. His research interests include computational intelligence, reliability analysis, multi-criteria decision making, evolutionary algorithms, expert systems, and decision support systems, computing with words and soft computing. He has authored more than 323 research papers and over 275 are in SCI journals, published in reviewed international journals, including Information Sciences, IEEE Transactions on Fuzzy Systems, Applied Intelligence, Expert Systems with Applications, Applied Soft Computing, IEEE Access, International Journal of Intelligent Systems, Computers and Industrial Engineering, Cognitive Computations, Soft Computing, Artificial Intelligence Review, IEEE CAA Journal of Automatic Sinica, IEEE Transactions on Emerging Topics in Computational Intelligence, Computers and Operations Research, Measurement, Journal of Intelligent and Fuzzy Systems, International Journal of Uncertainty, Fuzziness and Knowledge-Based Systems, and many more. He has also authored 7 book chapters, and his Google citations are over 12,580. He is the recipient of top cited paper by India-based author 2015 to 2019 from Elsevier publisher. Dr. Garg is the editor-in-chief of Journal of Computational and Cognitive Engineering, Annals of Optimization Theory and Practice. He is also the associate editor for Soft Computing, Alexandria Engineering Journal, Journal of Intelligent and Fuzzy Systems, Kubernetes, Complex and Intelligent Systems, Journal of Industrial and Management Optimization, Technological and Economic Development of Economy, International Journal of Computational Intelligence Systems, CAAI Transactions on Intelligence, Technology, Mathematical Problems in Engineering, Complexity, etc. So today he will be delivering a talk on Firefly algorithm and its numerical illustration. Sir, we welcome you to our FDP, and I hope that our participants will be getting a good knowledge on this topic from you. So thank you, sir, for turning up today. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for inviting me on this FDP program. So I would like to thank you for all the organizing committee, so which will give me a platform to share my knowledge with all these participants are there. Thank you very much, sir, once again. So let me firstly share my screen and let me know if it is visible. Is the screen is visible, please?
Yes, sir. History is visible.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So today's talk, as the professor introduced me, so it's great pleasure. So we will try to learn what is the Firefly algorithm. So as you can see in these 2 pictures, you can see this picture you have already seen in our day-to-day life are there. So whenever you go to some gardens, or you can see around your houses or the lane are there, you always see this is the Firefly are there. I hope also that you all know why we call as a firefly. The word is the fire is a separate thing, fly is here. So all of you know that we call this as a fly. Why we call as a firefly? You can see this is the light. You can see a fly which has the light. You can also see this is here. So this is a light, fire is there. So that's why we call as the fire plus fly is called as the firefly. So this algorithm is inspired from such kind of the flies, and based on these flies, the algorithm is developed by the researchers and called as the Firefly algorithm. So myself, Dr. Garg, working in the School of Mathematics, Thapar Institute, India. So if you feel any doubt regarding this presentation or the soft computing techniques, you may contact either of my email IDs are there. I would like to to solve your queries as much as possible, or else you can simply follow this my web page. So what we will try to understand in this presentation is, I will discretize this presentation into the three parts. Firstly, we will see what is the overview behind the title of this FDP, that is a bio-inspired or the nature-inspired algorithms. And then we will try to shift among all those. There are so many bio-inspired algorithms are there. Out of these bio-inspired algorithm, we will try to cover one is the Firefly algorithm. And if the time permits, then we will try to understand how this Firefly algorithm will work to solve the our optimization problem with the help of, say, one numerical example. So like, say, if I consider this a simple numerical example here, so I will try to explain you how this Firefly algorithm will work to solve such kind of the functions are there in our day-to-day life. So before starting the Firefly algorithm, let me quickly introduce, go through about the basic idea why there is a need of this Firefly algorithm. So first of all, what is the nature-inspired algorithms and how it can be designed? So in this first part of this presentation, we will see these are the outline of this nature-inspired algorithm. We will firstly see what is the introduction to the optimization, and then what is the terms behind the heuristic. Then the term is called as the hyper heuristic, and then we will see what is the meta heuristic and see what is the difference between them. Later on, we will see what are their drawbacks, and then we will classify this meta heuristic techniques in our third content. And finally, we will see what are the main direction which we need to focus if you want to implement in your research a new meta heuristic techniques. Finally, some source of the inspiration is given to you, and then we will move here as a Firefly algorithm. So what is optimizations are there? All of you know that whenever we are working on any of the maximization or minimization problem, say f of x, and my constant is, say, here. So your target, what is the target of for any of the optimization problem? The target is to optimize the function f with the parameter x star. So your target is to find this x star which will optimize this function, whether it's a maximization or minimization function. So optimization is the process of finding the best combination of the set of decision variables. So I called as xi's, x1, x2, and so on are my set of decision variables, and your target is to find the best one. So the best one is always be written in the form of the x star to solve any of the certain problems. So the problem may be your maximization or the minimization. And definitely you have seen many of the problems in your day-to-day lives are there. So you might heard about the problem of the LPP, you may heard about the problem of the quadratic, you may heard about the problem of the economic optimization problems, economic dispatch problems, and many more are there. So there are the countless applications are there in the optimization fields. So first of all, there are the two kinds of the optimization. One is called as the hard optimization. Second is called as the soft optimization, or called as the soft computing. So the hard optimization problem is occurring in almost every field of your day-to-day life are there. But why we call as the hard optimizations are there? You can see if this is your searching area and you want to search the best optimal solution in this dark room. This is your dark room. How you find the best optimal solution in your dark room? So there is no idea about that. Where is the optimal exist? It may that optimal is here. It may that optimal is here. So that's why we always say it is very hard to reach the global optimal solution. I hope all of you know that what is the meaning of the global optimal solution, like here. So if my problem is the maximization, say, so I can say this is the maximum among them. So this point is called as my global. On the other hand, this is also the maximum, but this is in the particular interval. This is also the maximum, but this in the particular interval. So these two are called as local. This is also called as the local for the particular interval, But if you consider the whole interval from minus infinity to plus infinity, this is the maximum point. So we can call as this as the global. So whenever we are talking about the optimization problem, our target is to search on the global optimal solution. That is, if we are unable to find the global optimal solution, then our target is to reach near to the global optimal solution. So this is your target always. So if you like here, if your function is say x square plus 1, so all of you know that this is the graph of here. So you can easily find the minimum value at point here, that is x is 0, so the value of the fx is 1. So this is, you can easily understand that. But what will happen if your function is a very complex form? Then it is not easy like here. If I write here sine inverse of root x square plus 1 and then taken as a logarithm and then take as a square root upon inverse cos and then so on. So it is very difficult to find the graphical representation of this and its maximum value. So in order to solve such kind of the problems, there are the two categories of the optimization techniques. One is called as the exact method. Second is called as the approximate method. What are the difference between them is, so the classical method is also called as the exact method, as you heard in your lower classes, like Lagrange formula there. All of you, Lagrange multiply formula, or you can say that the KKT conditions are there, or you can say the Wolf method, and many more are there. Quadratic programming. So all these are the classical methods are there. So what you can do is that if your function is like here, something and some constant is given to you, how you optimize this function by using the classical method? You define the Lagrange multiplier, f of x plus lambda times the constraints, and then you have to apply the KKT conditions, or you can apply some, you can convert them to the linear programming and so on. So these are the exact methods are there. But whenever we are talking about the exact method, it has many of the local optimal. It is not always provide the global optimal. Definitely, when this problem is your convex, so when this problem is your convex, then all of us knows that local optimal implies global optimal. So whenever the problem is convex programming problem, then there is no worry about the local or the global. But what will happen if there is a non-convex problem? So whenever there is a non-convex problem, we always premature convergence about the local optimal. So our target is to reach not on the local optimal, but to reach at the global. So in order to reach to the global optimal solution, our target is to balance all these 5 parameters. That is, we will discuss how you can manage or challenge the high non-linearity. Like here, you can see if your function be like here, it is highly non-linear is there. How you can balance this non-linearity are there. So in order to balance this non-linearity, so this is a non-linear is there. How you find the whether the function is convex or non-convex? So if the function is non-convex, how you find the, if the function is non-convex, then this does not implies. If the function is the non-convex, then local does not implies the global. So how you find the global optimal solution? How you check the differentiability or the continuity of the problem? So you can't check that because you are unable to define the linearity of the problem. How you define on the large scale? Large scale means if you have the function like here, xi square, and this is my I very strong and n is a very large number. So how you find the maximum or minimum of this function? So our target is to develop an algorithms, especially in the optimization technique, which can balance such kind of the features are there. How you can balance them? Or you can say additionally, what is the important feature of the exact methods are there? You have some limited set of the constraints and many contradictory objectives are there. Like if you have some firm, what is your objective is that you always want to maximize your profit. In the same time, you always want to minimize your cost. You always want to minimize your cost. So what is the meaning of that? These are two always be a conflictness are there. So definitely when you always want to the profit to be maximized, but cost would be minimized. It means they are conflicting in nature. So that is called as the multi-objective problem. Again, after that, once you have say if you have the profit is there, then you can say the total cost I have say 10 raised power 6 units are there. So how many units which are involved in this total cost? So you may have the several units while the production. So whether the units are your continuous, discrete, integer, and so on. Like here, if you say my domain is x1 is lies from here, x2 will be like say 9. So whether it is a continuous means it has infinite many values. Discrete means whether it consists of only finite values. Integer means all of you know that integer, or you can say the binary are there. So if your problem is a binary, then we will call as the binary optimization problem. If you are integer, then we will call as the integer programming problem. All of you know that one of the well-known problem is the branch and bound method. Now, so whenever you are executing this exact method, that is, we will, there are so many possible alternatives are there, and it's a very difficult to pick the best solutions. So in order to solve such kind of the problem or to overcome that, we will try to classify as the NP hard problem. So whenever you are unable to find, so exact methods are guaranteed to obtain the optimal solution unless the problem is NP hard. That is, what is the meaning of the NP hard is when there is no polynomial time exists in their execution. Or whenever you have to increase the size of the problem, then the complexity of the algorithm will increases. So that will lead to the high computational time. So whenever there is a high computational time, so we will overcome this problem with the help of some meta-heuristic techniques. So the major advantages of this bio-inspired or the nature-inspired technique is they will handle the NP hard problem, or you can say which will handle the non-convex function also. If you have the convex function, you can easily solve the optimization problem whenever. But on the other hand, when the problem is your non-convex or is a very large size, we always look about the meta-heuristic techniques. So meta-heuristic techniques are widely used over the last 3 or 4 decades are there because of their simplicity, avoid the local optimal, that's the most important things, and it's a derivative free approach. Because whenever you are talking about the exact method, how you can solve the maximum or minimum, you always take the first derivative 0, and then you have to check the second derivative whether it's a greater than or less than 0. But whenever we are talking about the meta-heuristic, this derivative condition will be ruled out. So in order to understand these two meta-heuristic, in order to understand the meta-heuristic techniques, there are the two major important things are there. One is called as the exploration, second is the exploitation. And the importance phenomena of this meta-heuristic is we are able to provide a balance between them. Now the first question arises here is, what is the meaning of this exploration? What is the meaning of this exploitation are there? How you define that? So the meaning of this exploration is this will indicate the availability of the algorithm to discover the new solution. What is the meaning of that? Say your exact optimal solution is here. This is your exact optimal, but we don't know what is the exact optimal solution. You start from here. This is your starting point. Then after this starting point, your target is to reach at this point. How you can reach at this point? Either you can reach through by this way, or you can start from here, then go for here, and then this, and then this. Otherwise, you can firstly go this side, then this side, and then this side, and then so on. So which path you can follow, which will take the less time, less complexity are there. So how you can define that? In order to define this, we will apply the exploration. That is, if you start from here, the next direction will be here or here. That will be tell you with the help of the exploration. That is availability of the algorithm, whatever the algorithm you have used, whether it's a genetic algorithm, it's a PSO or the Firefly algorithm, to discover the new searching area. And exploitation, as the name means that exploit. So whenever you are meaning of the exploit, you have to find the best solution in the possible region of the searching space. So if this is as your searching space, how you find the best solution, that will help you do exploration. So one will tell you how you can discover the new area, and this will tell you to find the best solution. So it means you have to, if you want to decrease the searching area, like initially is this, then we will try to search in this area, then we will find to search in this area until we will get the optimal solution. And the way of this is to find the promising region. So that's why we say there is a target is to balance between them. So, so the main target is to find the satisfactory solution of within a reasonable time. So the reasonable time means you can say we need the less complexity of the algorithm, or you can say we will get the less time or money to get the optimal solution. So generally speaking, there are meta-heuristic techniques are divided into these three categories: heuristic, hyper, and the meta are there. So if you select any of the alternatives, whether it perform the partial or the incomplete, that are basically depending upon these categories are there. So like here, heuristic means that is a iteration wise. So whenever you start from the one point, say xi, then the next point you are working on the xi plus 1. Next point you are working on the xi plus 2, and so on until you will get the optimal solution. So but whenever you are working on these heuristic techniques, that will not guarantee about the optimal solution. In order to overcome this, the researchers are defined on the hyper heuristic techniques, which are basically the heuristic, how you choose the initial point, how you can move on the second point. That's basically the chosen the heuristics are there. Also, it will help you to decide in which direction you are working and how you can apply the heuristic at each of the stages. There are many heuristic and the hyper heuristic techniques are there. You can explore on the literature if you want, but the major thing is that how you can add, remove, or slap the choices or the target in order to move on the optimization process. So the fundamental difference between the hyper heuristic and the meta heuristic is that the later one will directly operates over the searching space to the problem. Okay, so what is the meaning of that? Whenever you are working on the good heuristic to solve the problem, whereas the meta heuristic are finding the good solution to the problem. So if you want to find the optimal solution, we are working on the meta heuristic techniques. But if you have the different techniques are there, say this is my Lagrange multiplier method, this is my genetic algorithms, this is my particle swarm optimization, and so on. So which method you can able to use for your problem, you are working on this hyper heuristic. So the motivation behind this hyper is that how significantly you can choose the characteristics of the problem while solving the problem. So that's the basic basic feature of this hyper heuristic algorithm is there. Now, whenever you can see your exploration is more important than of the exploitation. What is the meaning of that? So whenever the individual heuristic is effective in the particular stage, what is the meaning of that? You can say the exploration is more important than exploration, or otherwise you can say it will give you the poor performance at that, because your target is to make them as a balance on it. So if you give the preferences only on the one objective other than the second, then it will give you the poor performance at the later stages. So in order to overcome this low level of the heuristics are there, these meta heuristic techniques are used. So with meta heuristic techniques, what they can use is the hypergeometry will work on the local optimal solution. So in order to produce the better optimal solution, these meta heuristic techniques will trap the local to the global solution. Now the classification of the meta heuristic in the literature. So there are so many classifications are there. Basically are divided into the several 2 or 3 categories. One is called as the nature inspired algorithms. Second is called as the non-nature inspired. As the suggested that the nature inspired, so that is which are inspired from the nature. Like if say, what is the meaning of the nature is, if you look about the fishes, so how these fishes behave like that in a pond, how their behavior is that. So if somebody is observing the behavior of the fishes, they define the algorithm called as the PSO, particle swarm optimization. Also, all of you know that in human bodies there is a genes. So the algorithm which are inspired from the genes or working on the genes behavior called as the genetic algorithms. All of you know that if you have some, this is the ant is there, they are moving in some one particular direction, and then after in the same straight line they are moving in that, and once one ant will change their direction, all the ant will automatically change their direction. So that is called as the ant algorithms, and many more are there. On the other hand, for the non-nature inspired, we will search for the taboo search and the other local searches are there. Another category is that it is based on the population or the single point search. What is the meaning of the population and the single search? Say you want to search, like all of you know that how you can solve the Newton method. If you are from the mathematics background, you know that how you can solve the Newton method for solving the for finding the objective, finding the root of the equation, like here. So this is the equation for that. So what is that? How you can start with this one? You always start from the initial guess, say 3. So it means you start from the single point. You start from the single point, that is a single point search. But on the other hand, if you taken say 100 values are there, like say vector are there. So if you consider as a 100 initial guesses are there. So this more than one searching is called as the population search. So genetic algorithms is called as the population based because they use the set of the solutions instead of the single point. On the other hand, which are using as a single point, like Newton's method, bisection methods, or you can also search about the simplex methods or the Lagrange multiplier KKT conditions are there. Another one is called as the dynamic functions with respect to the static function. As the name suggests, what is the meaning of the dynamic? Which are changes with respect to the time. And static means which are constant with respect to the time. Also, we will search on the one single and the various neighborhood. What is the meaning of the neighborhood is there? If your optimal is looking at here, we will work on this here. That is, we will working on the local optimal solutions. So if you are working on these intervals and if the solution does not changes, we will call as the topology and the possibility of the diversity are there. Now, this is the same as the memory and the memoryless properties. Now, the main characteristics behind any of the meta heuristic techniques are there. What is the main technique are there? You start from this initial guess. This initial guess is called as the population. So whenever we are working on the population, that is a set of the populations, then your target is to reach at this global solution or near to the global solution. So how you can move that? So your target is to find the firstly the direction. This direction will help you to reach to the global solution. So our target is we will try to improve the working of their searching direction. So we will try to improve the current methods by controlling the parameters of the algorithms. And then we will try to hybridize the different algorithms by taking the benefits of each others. And then you are able to define the new algorithms. So these are the basically nature-inspired algorithms are classified into the evolutionary techniques, swarm intelligence, physics-based, human-related techniques. As the name suggests, human. So that is they are basic inspired from the human's behavior. Like here, evolutionary algorithms are inspired from the biology. Swarm intelligence are which are all those algorithms which are inspired from the behaviors of the insects, animals, and so on. Physics-based algorithms, they are basically inspired or rule based on the phenomena of the physics, like all of you know that the gravitational force. So all of you are from the science backgrounds. So this is the gravitational force between the two masses are there. So if you have the two masses, two bodies whose mass is m1 and m2, distance is between them is r, then you can find the force between the two bodies uh, M, two bodies whose masses are m1 and m2 is defined like here, where this g is called as the gravitational constant. So if this is the physics law, so the algorithm which are working on this is called as the gravitational optimization law. Human behaviors that are basically inspired from the human's nature. So what are the examples of them are there? So evolutionary algorithms like genetic differentials and so on. Swarm intelligences like ant colony, artificial bee colony. Also you can say ABC, firefly algorithms, and many more are there. Physics-based called as this essay, self-propagate. Human-related, that's based on the teaching learning-based algorithms. What is a teaching learning-based algorithm is? That is a TLBO. That is, it will teach, it will design based on the teacher and the student relationship in the classroom are there. And the social and the civil are there. You can see there are many of the algorithms are there, 17 of these studies. This is the study up to the 2019 and 20s are there. So right now there are many more are there. So 17, 36 and many more are there. These are the number of the articles which are published related to the evolutionary swarm, physics and human. Since the humans are very recently developed are there, so that's why the number of the articles are less. And you can see the growth of these papers related to this swarm intelligence, evolutionary physics and so on in these years are there. And it is continuously be moving on that. So this is a simply basic overview about why we need of the bio-inspired, or you can see the nature-inspired algorithms, and what is the motivation behind of that. Now, based on this overview, now we will try to understand what is the Firefly algorithm. So, what is a Firefly algorithm is? This is basically the bio-inspired meta-heuristic techniques. That is, this is fall under the category of here. This is the swarm intelligence technique. So the Firefly algorithm will work under this swarm intelligence techniques. So this Firefly algorithm is firstly is the bio-inspired meta-heuristic techniques which are used for solving the optimization problem. How it can be solved? So if you want to read the who will design these Firefly algorithms. So this firstly, the Firefly algorithms abbreviated as a FA is firstly defined by Qin-Shi Yang in 2007 and 8 are there. And the first study related to them is published in this here, International Symposium of the Stochastic Algorithms. So if you want to search this, you can simply title Firefly algorithm for the multimodal optimization. You will get this the paper, detailed paper of here are this. So this algorithm is basically, as I discussed you, this is the flashing patterns and the behavior of the firefly at the night. Because whenever we call as the firefly, so fire is always be seen at the night. How this algorithm will work on that? What is the thinking behind this Qin-Shi Yang in these firefly algorithms? So they are basically construct the rule or algorithm based on these three rules. What are those three are there? The first rule is, if this is your say firefly and this is a light, there are so many fireflies are there. Say this is the light, this is the light. The first rule is all the fireflies are the unisex. What is the meaning of the unisex is, if this is the first firefly, this firefly can attract toward this side, this firefly can attract to this side, or this firefly can attract to this side. So that's why there is no discrimination between their sex are there. So that's why we call as the unisex are there. Similarly, this firefly can attract toward this. Attract means they can move toward, attract means they can move towards either or side. They can move toward this, they can move toward this. So that is how they can move toward them. Definitely, if the one firefly is here, second firefly is here, what is the meaning of this? I highlighted as a dark, this is a light, or you can say this is the fire. So one firefly which are, and the third firefly is say here. So definitely a fly which are here will clearly see the fly of the other, fire of the other, as you can see the distance is small and here the distance is large. So they will definitely attract towards the lesser distance. Why? Because the light is very high as compared to this C. So this firefly A will move toward the B in a very easy manner as compared to the C. So that is, it can, because the brightness is high in here while less in this case. Second rule is, so the first rule is they can move, either of the sides are there regardless of their unisex is there. Second is that the brightness of the firefly is determined from the objective function. What is the meaning of that? So if you want to maximize or minimize your function, whatever is there, okay, so the brightness, whatever that, they will move toward each other based on the brightness. So that is, they are moving based on the firefly. So if these are the three fireflies are there, you can see this is a distance small r, this is the capital R are there. So if your problem is the maximization, then this firefly will prefer to move over this one because the distance is high. Or you can say the objective function. So I can call as this is fx, this is fx. On the other hand, if your problem is the minimization, then the objective is less here, or you can say the distance is less. So this firefly will prefer to move over here. That's the meaning of this, determined by the objective function. Last rule is that the attractiveness is directly proportional to the brightness. And definitely, as the distance increases, what is the meaning of the brightness? As the distance increases, the brightness will be decreases. That is inversely proportional to each other. So the same rule for here. And they both are decreases as the distance increases. So based on these three rules, they have designed the algorithm. So like, what is the meaning of this are there? It means the firefly will move toward the brighter one. If there is no brighter one, they can move toward the random. Now, so since these are based on the behaviors of the fireflies are there, so as we know from the physics background, that is a intensity of the light is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So if you open this proportionality sign, there is some constant will be there here. So we can say I denoted beta is my attractiveness, and this is the here. What is the meaning of this beta 0 is? So you can see what is the value of beta at r is 0. So what is that? This is nothing but here. This is 0, e raised power 0, that is nothing but 1. So that is a beta 0 is the attractiveness at r is 0. What is r0 is? Your initial point. So if you are searching, if you start from here, then this means this is r is 0. If you start from here, then this is your r0 and so on. Now, how they will move toward each other. So the first firefly algorithm rule is, if this is the fireflies, how they can move on that. So the first firefly, say A is my I is my firefly, they can move either to this, they can move either to this. So if I say xi, firefly can move to either of these fireflies are there. They can move toward this, 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 or this, and so on. How they can move toward xi to the xj? They can move a firefly located xj is more attractive. How they can attract them? Based on the brightness. Brightness means that is your objective function. So towards the xi, so xj, say ik, say this are moving toward this. So how they can move that? So whenever these are moving toward them, so what is the representation of this? This is nothing but my distance. Or you can say this is my distance earlier. So this equation is defined like here. You can see this is nothing but my brightness coefficient. What is that? This is nothing but my previous position. Like here, if you start from here, this is the first firefly, and then this firefly will move toward here. This is your next position. So if you start from the xi, this is your next position, xi plus 1. How you define that? So this is nothing but my direction. If this is my direction, then what is the difference between them? So if I say I start from the xi, then it can move toward here. So the distance between them is here. And how they can move them? They are moving based on the brightness. How you define the brightness? We see in our previous slide, the brightness is based on this intensity R there, gamma of R square. So that is of this brightness multiplied with the distance. And how you find this new position is, that is the previous position plus the direction. So that is the previous position plus direction. And what is that? This is my noise is there, or you can say error. We will see each terms are there. What is the small t represent for my iteration counter? What is the meaning of the iteration counter is, this the first time you are moving here, so that t is equal to 1. After that you are moving on this side, so that is the second step, so that t is my 2 and so on. So that's why iteration are there. Now the second term, look at that. This, what is that? This is due to the attraction. So that's why the second term is due to the attraction towards the xj. So if you have this xi, they are moving toward either of the sides are there, either of the firefly. So if they choose toward here, why they choose? Due to the attractiveness. So that's why these are attractiveness. The last term here is called as the random parameters. So where alpha is called as the random, and all of you know that what is that epsilon is, this is nothing but my error. And this error you can define, this is a random number which can drawn either from the Gaussian distribution. Gaussian distribution is also called as the normal distribution, uniform distribution, or you can say the Levy distribution, and many more are there. So you can find this random number based on the any of the probability distribution. Now once they will update the position, now will be here. So if you closely look about that, this term, what will happen if beta 0 is 0? So this part will be 0. So what will happen to the new position? This is here. The new position will be, what is the meaning of that? This is my previous position. What is that? This term is for my random. And this is my new position. So what is the meaning of that? It means the particle or the firefly will move from this xi to the new position xi plus 1 due to the randomness. So that is called as the simple random walk. And also you can say it's a simple Markov process. All of you know that a simple random walk is nothing but the Markov chain is there. So that is previous position plus randomness is there. That's a Markov chain. On the other hand, if the parameter here, you can see how many unknown parameters are there. Unknown parameter is beta, gamma, upside, and alpha. These are the 4 parameters are there. So we will try to explain each of the parameters are there. The first thing is here. Now what will happen if gamma will be very small or approaches 0? So what is that term? This is nothing but my 0. E raised power 0 is 1. So what is the meaning of that? The new position will move by using xj minus xi plus of the error. What is the meaning of that? You have to see this is the previous position plus this is the constant value. So if you look about the PSO, how the positions, how the new positions are calculated, that's the velocity, and how you find the VIs are there, that is the new values plus C1 R1 personal best plus this is the value of the algorithms in the global best in the PSO. So if you look about that, this xi is the same value. So and this, if you consider this as a P best, or you can consider as a G best, we will call as the PSO algorithm. So it means whenever the gamma parameter you consider as a 0, then this firefly algorithm will reduce to the PSO. On the other hand, also you can see if you consider xj as the global best position, then it becomes the standard PSO. Now in order to understand these parameters are there, what is the meaning of this epsilon? Since this epsilon is my randomness, or you can say how you can, random is how you can check the diversity of the solution. So since it is a random, Once it is a random, so the major target is to tune this parameter. How you can tune this parameter? So whenever there is a randomness, so this random number is lies between 0, 1. So it may that the first time random number will generate as a 0.31, second time is generate as a 0.97 and so on. So you can say there is a huge difference between them. It means the diversity is very high, but your target is to make the balance between them. How you make the balance? That is, you can use this, you can update them with respect to the counter are there. So at every time it will depend upon the previous value with respect to this delta, that is nothing but my random number between the 0, 1. What is the purpose of this is that it will nothing but it will control the coolings are there, or you can say it will nothing but the scaling parameters are. And since it is lies between 0 and 1, so random number in for most of the application, it is preferable that you can taken as a 0.95 to 0.97. So remember, it is only preferable, but you can tune as per your own convenience or from the problem to problem. Another thing is that this part, since this beta 0 is represent the controlling the attractiveness, how you can do that? So most of the studies we will consider beta 0 as a 1, but you can again change as per your own problem or from the on design algorithms. Now, since we define alpha is here randomness, now there is a new unknown parameter, that is the alpha 0. How you can define the alpha 0, which is nothing but the scaling parameter. So how you define this alpha 0? So regarding the initial alpha 0, you can do the simulation. You can use this Monte Carlo simulation if you want. You can tune this Firefly algorithm in such a way that this alpha node, that is the scaling parameter, will be associated with your decision variables, that is your x1, x2, and then so on. So you can define your alpha 0 with the help of this. What is the L is? L is the average scale of the problem. What is the meaning of the average scale is? If that is, you can consider as a lower bound and the upper bound. LB is called as the lower bound of your problem. UB is called as the upper bound of your problem. So definitely you can consider L is nothing but my range. So you can define the alpha node as my here. The factor 0.01, that is a 1%. This is a 1%, that is for due to the random walk, that it can balance the exploitation without jumping to the so many steps. So remember that if you consider here as say 5%, what is the meaning of that? It will jump to the 5% to the new solution. So you can consider as small as much so that it will jump. It will not jump to the local or the optimal solution. Now, another thing is, you can see what is the another thing here. So how you tune the parameter gamma. So we can see beta 0 we can initially set as 1. This alpha we can define like this way, where this delta you can choose from 0.97 to the 95 to 0.97. This alpha node you can set as of here. Epsilon is a random number. You can choose any of the distribution like normal distribution. The only unknown parameter now the pending is the gamma. So gamma is also related to the scaling. So since this is independent of the I and j, so that's as only the one parameter R. Why we consider as a reciprocal? Because it will impact on the negative of them. And since this gamma is totally depending on the L, so you can see the order of the convergence of this is only 1, why there is no other parameters. Now we will discuss about the complexity of the algorithm. That's the most important thing when you define for the bio-inspired algorithms. So since this is the algorithms are there, so how you define the algorithm, complexity of them? What is that? So if this is your first Firefly, xi, this is your another Firefly, say x1, x2, and say xn. How this xi will move toward this? Either they can move toward the x1, either they can move toward this, they can move toward this. So how many choices are there for this xi? How many choices are there? They have n choices. They can move either of the sides. So it means corresponding to the xi, I has how many choices? N choices. Similarly for the j, if I consider this as my xj, they can move similarly. How they can move? So this xj can move again toward either this, they can move either this and so on. So j also has n choices are there. You can see in this equation there are the two index I, sorry, there are the three index I, j, and this small d is my equations. So you have to find how many loops, how many loop you have to taken. How many choices for the I is, there are the n choices. How many choices for the j, they can interact with each other is n. How many iterations you have to set, that's depending upon you. So if you want to run your algorithm, say 100 times, then your small t maximum will be 100. If you move them to be the 1000 times, then it will be the 1000. So it has your small t. So what is that? The total number will be my n square multiplied by t. So this will be the order of the, this is the computational complexity of the Firefly algorithms. You can see Firefly algorithm has the two inner loop. One is for the I, second is for the j. Each has the n1 and one loop for the iteration as a small t. So what you can do? So the complexity of the algorithm is here. Also, how you can read that? You can see there are the two parameters n and t. You can see that this is linear, while n is nothing but the n square, so it is a non-linear. What is the meaning of that? So what is the n is? Number of the fireflies you have to chosen. How many firefly you have chosen? So if you consider n is say 7, or you can choose n as say 700. How you choose a small t? That is the iteration wise. So if you choose iteration as say 700, or you can choose the iteration as say 7000. What will happen? You can see this computational complexity is linear with respect to the t. Once it is linear, what will be the rate of the change? That is always be a constant. What is the meaning of that? It means whether you want to take the number of the iteration as a 70 or 700 or 7000, the rate of the change is always be a constant. What is the meaning? Rate change is constant. On the other hand, if you take an n as a 7, the computational complexity will be 7 square, while for the 700 it will be 700 square. So what is the meaning of that? You can analyze that. If your n is small, that is say n is 50, or you can say that iteration is very large, say 4000, the computational cost is inexpensive. Why? You can see that this is my because the small t is very large, but this is a linear. So if it is linear, the rate of the change is a constant. So that means there is no much difference between them. On the other hand, if you consider n as a very large number, what is the meaning of that? Then it will take as a n square. If you take n as say 5000, so how many loops you will consider as? How many execution you want to consider? 25 into 10 raised power 6. That's a very large computational complexity. So whenever there is a large computational complexity, so how you can use them? I think all of you know that this is a big O notation. You can sort them with the algorithms, and this algorithm will reduce to the n log n. So this will convert it to the n log n, and once you will taken as a small t, n log n t. Now again you can see this is a linear R there. Now we will see some special cases of the Firefly algorithms. This is the equations are there. Now what is the meaning of the special cases are there? We can, how many unknown parameters? One is the beta node, gamma, alpha, and epsilon. So if you substitute one by one the values on here, we will see this Firefly algorithm will convert it to the PSO, whether this converted to the differential evolutions, and many more are there, we will see. So let's start with them. What will happen if gamma is very large? If gamma is very large means gamma is approaches infinity. what will happen to this term? E raised to power minus infinity is nothing but my 0. So if this part will 0, what is that? This is nothing but my 0. So the second term becomes negligible. Therefore, we can say this will reduce to the simulate annealing, that is SA. If this is exactly 0, if I say this is exactly 0, what is the meaning of that? It will be moving as a Markov process, or is a random process, random walk. But in this case, it is approximately be a 0, like here, this value may be 0.001. So that quantity will not be a 0. So that's why this will not be considered as a random walk, but considered as a algorithm called as the simulating annealing, that is based on the physics law. As I can show you again, SA, you can see here. This is the simulating annealing is the physics-based techniques. Second special case is what will happen if your gamma is very small. That is, if this will approaches toward the 0, then what will happen? This will approaches towards the 1. But this is not exactly 1. They are approaching towards the 1 are there. So what is the meaning of that? If this approaches 1, then this value is nothing but my here xj minus xi plus of here. Now, what will happen if you consider this part as a 0? You can see this becomes here. Now, if I consider this alpha as my 0, because you can always consider alpha is alpha node of this. So I can consider here as my initially 0. So what will happen? This equation, this will be 0. So if you know about this is called as the differential evolution is there. On the other hand, if you replace this component with a global best, that is called as the it is not called as the standard. Why? Because it is an error here. So once it is error, we call as the accelerated. If this part is a 0, then we will call as the standard PSO. Also, what will happen if you set beta 0 as a 0 and alpha, this epsilon is my xi. So what will happen? This new position at the t plus 1, now this is exactly 0. This is exactly, so this part becomes a 0. So what will happen? This is the previous value plus of here. What will happen? This is previous position plus randomness. This is a randomness of the previous one. So this is nothing but my harmony search equation. So what you conclude that is a Firefly algorithm is powerful combinations of the differential algorithms, PSO, harmony search, and many more are there. Also, you can see that. So if you remember your PSO algorithms, how the particle swarm algorithms, this will work like here. This is the velocity. So you can see C1 R1 P best minus of the X plus C2 R2 global best minus of the X. So can you find that what is the updation equation? When you updating the equation, is it linear with respect to X or not? You can check that. You can see this is a linear, this is a linear, this is a linear, and each of the constants, these are my constants. So what is the meaning of that? Whenever you are updating the PSO, they are working on the linear side. But on the other hand, you can see that what is the coefficient of the xi? That is, what is the rij? How you find the distance between the 2 points? That is x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square and so on. This is the distance between them. So you can see this is a non-linear. So what is the meaning of that? The coefficient of the xj is a non-linear. So you can see Firefly algorithm will use the non-linear updation equation. So whenever there is a non-linear, the convergence rate is very high as compared to the linear, as we discussed in the PSO here. Now the next question arises is why the Firefly algorithm is efficient. So there are several advantages are there. First one is the automatic subdivision. Why? What is the meaning of the subdivisions are there? If I say this is my first Firefly, this is the second Firefly, this is the Firefly, this is the Firefly, This is a firefly. And definitely you can observe that if this firefly will try to move their position, you can see the distance between them is very large. So whenever the distance is very large, so the intensity will be small. So that if intensity is small, they will not prefer to move on toward this side. So it means if your whole population is your screen, then they can divide the whole population into the small groups. Like they can prefer to move within this region where they can easily see their flies, while all others are very far away from their range. That's why this is called as the subdivision. That is, a firefly is based on the attraction, and the attractiveness is decreases with the distance. So what is the meaning of that? The whole firefly will divide into the groups, that this firefly will prefer to move over this region whose distance is less as compared to the distance of here. So that is, they can divide into the subgroup. So whenever we are working on the subgroup, you can easily obtain the local or the global optimals are there. Second is, since the population size is very large as compared to the modulus, so they can simultaneously working on that. Also, we have seen that there is a parameter of the controlness, that is the alpha t and the epsilon are there. So which is help to convert the algorithms in a efficient manner as compared to the others. Like here, you can see how you can prove this result is. So we will see, I consider that two functions and we will try to compute their cost. Like here, you can see what is the meaning of that. If you open this here, x1 square, then x2 square, and so on, how many are there? This is the 256. You can see the d value are. So it is not an easy task to find the function is there. So this function is proposed by de Jong. That's why called as the de Jong function. So if on this function, if your target is to optimize this one, if you apply the genetic PSO and the firefly, you can see how many function evaluations are there. You can see, I think all of you know that what is the meaning of the plus minus, that is the standard deviations, and this is nothing but the on an average. So the firefly algorithm will need only 5,657 evaluations, while the genetic algorithms works on the 25,000. While PSO needs 17,000 to reach to the optimal solution. What is the meaning of that? After performing the 5,000 iterations, you will get the optimal solution. While performing the 25,000, it means the time or the complexity of the algorithm increases. You can see when you use the firefly algorithm to solve the problem, it will save 78% from the genetic and 67% from the PSO. They will save the computational cost are there. Similarly, if you consider the another function like Zang4, you can see this is the highly nonlinear are there. And again, this is my 256. You can solve them. This is a very highly nonlinear. So if you perform this firefly algorithm, you can see the algorithms are here and this one. So how much you can save are there? This is 86 and 74 are there. So based on this, you can analyze that the firefly algorithms will definitely save your time, will save your cost during the computational complexity algorithm. Also, you can see these standard deviations, that is the variation of the firefly algorithms to reach the optimal solution, is also less as compared to the PSO and the genetic. So what is the advantages at the end? What is the advantages of these firefly algorithms? So the first advantage is, as we discussed, it can divide the whole population into the subgroup. So if this is your population, they can divide the group based on the distances. So if you divide this into the 4 groups, so you can search the optimal solution from this group, and I call as H1 is the optimal solution from this group, H2 is the optimal solution from this group, H3, H4, and so on. Once you will get all the optimal solutions here, then you can easily find the best optimal solutions from them. So that's the very easy, efficient way you can solve the problem into the sub problem, find the best optimal solution from each of them, and then find the best one among them. That is, if your problem is minimization, you can find the best one, H1, H2, and so on. If your problem is maximization, find the best one among here, you will get the optimal solution. Also, they have the capability to find the multimodal because they have divided the groups here. So you may get that at some point H1 and H2 are same. So that is a multimodal are there. They will high diversity are there because you have to use the parameter alpha, that is which are define the randomness. So you have to include this parameter alpha in your algorithms. So it will help you to check the diversity are here. Also, we have seen that the Firefly algorithms has several special cases as compared to the others, and it has the less computational complexity as compared to the genetic, PSO, and many more. Also, we see that this Firefly algorithms use the nonlinear updating equation for finding the optimal solution instead of the linear on the other hand. So all these algorithms, all these advantages will make the Firefly algorithms a very unique and the efficient way. So finally, how you can summarize them? So how this algorithm will work? You can start with the some set of the populations. You can find the intensity. What is the meaning of the intensities? You can find the distances between the fireflies, xis, and so on. You can find the distances between them. And based on the distances, you can find their updation equation. Once you will update the equation, you can perform the greedy selection. What is the meaning of the greedy selection is, since you update this is the new updated equation, this is the new position. Now this greedy selection means you want to accept or decline your new solution, whether you want to accept this new solution or you want to decline this new solution. So that procedure is called as the greedy selection. Once you will perform the greedy selection, then check whether your termination criteria is satisfied. If yes, then you will get the optimal solution. Otherwise, go back here, again find the intensity between them, update the equation, check whether you want to accept the new solution or not, and then go back also. So the process will repeat it until you will get the required termination criteria as per your design. So this is the way you can try to understand this Firefly algorithms. So that is the number of the parameters are nothing but beta 0 and 1, and alpha naught, gamma, and most of the time delta is taken from the 0.95 to the 0.97. Beta naught we will taken as a 1. This you have to taken, that's is depending upon you. Number of the iteration, that's again depending upon you. This is defined on the design problem. Whatever you have the problem, you can define the value of the gamma accordingly. This value of the alpha is again based on your design product. So if you have any doubt, so you can ask any question related to the so far presentation is there. Thank you. So let me know if there is any doubt so far.
Sir, I want to know whether we can combine a method like simplex method with this meta heuristic at any parameter optimization part, because we are having number of parameters. So can the combination of these two techniques are possible?
Yes, it is possible, but it will not be benefit of that. The reason is the simplex method is working on the linear programming, and whenever you are working on the linear programming, that function is a convex, so that's you can easily solve. While the non-linear or the non-convex, how these meta heuristic techniques are beneficial, they are working mostly for the non-convex optimization problem.
Actually, sir, in one of the program of this load scheduling part, so one of the just paper I was checking, they have proposed this method that this simplex can be added at one of the stage while doing the load scheduling problem. So that was why I was asking was, according to your lecture, it's of no use, or what I came to understand is it's of no use to combine these two. But I've seen one of the published paper I've seen this has been combined as a new method to the optimization of the load scheduling problem.
No, yes, you can combine, but provided condition is that whatever you have the cargo or loading problem are there, you have checked whether the number of the decision variables are very large, first of
Okay.
all. Okay, if you have only the 2 or 3 variables are there, though, then you can use them, Firefly algorithm, but there it will not give you as much advantages as of the simplex method. If you try to compare them, they will produce the same result.
Okay,
But if your decision variables are very large, then definitely this algorithm will work better than of the simplex method.
thank you. Sir, one more question is there. For example, the load scheduling problem is very old problem. So when I just search the back history, so almost all the meta-heuristic techniques have come up for the solution of this load scheduling problem. So how can we say that this particular meta-heuristic technique is better than the other one? Because almost all the techniques have been used for this load scheduling problem. It's a big old problem. So I was just searching how many techniques, meta-heuristic techniques have been used for solving this. So is it viable that we say one we find we apply this particular technique, यहाँ पे ये चीज optimize होगी, so this is the best. So for another work, I'm saying for the same load scheduling problem, I'm using this particular meta-heuristic technique. So this particular part has been improved, so this is recommended. So in the research papers, these type of recommendations are there when we people are backpressing it for the same type of problem. So what is the use of then doing this all meta-heuristic applications to this load scheduling problem?
Okay, very good question is there. So first of all, there is a one result in the optimization that is called as the no free launch theorem.
Yes,
what is the meaning of this no free launch theorem is no algorithm can set, no optimization algorithm can set that this algorithm or this optimization technique is better for all the problems are there. Now the second question you have said that how you can compare, if you compare one problem with say Firefly algorithms, the same problem you can compare with the PSO and you can compare which one is the better. Now my answer related to them is, firstly you have to look about your paper. What is the objective of your paper? Your objective is to emphasize on the meta-heuristic techniques or to just want to calculate the optimal value. If you want to compare the PSO with the genetic algorithms, then simple you can say objective function की value 0.7 आ गई, उसकी 0.9, then you can't say that it's a better. You have to perform your computational complexity. That is how many iterations they are needed to reach to the optimal solution or how much time it has taken to reach to the optimal solution. That's the only comparison variable. You can't say that Firefly algorithm will get better results as of the others always for all of the problems. Whenever you want to compare the two or more soft computing or the nature inspired algorithms, you work on the diversity of the algorithms, you work on the computational complexity of the algorithms, and you work on the convergence rate of the algorithm. Then only you can say the one algorithm is better than of the others.
Sir, I really want to know while going through these meta-heuristic papers. So it's generally there that these have been tried on some standard test functions before going for a particular application. Is that required to prove that this method is, I have made this change in a particular method and it is suitable for these type of test function, or maybe one of the application because the theorem maybe it's not suitable
Yes.
for all the things.
Yes,
So
yes.
this should be the background for many of the papers or not? Because I'm just going through the meta-heuristic papers and I just observe this.
Okay. No. The reason behind is I can show you here. You can see, say you have designed this new algorithm are there. Okay, and there are several of the benchmark problems are existing. That is called as some CEC problem, or say engineering design problems are there called as the welded beam, and many more. What you can do is basically what is the basic phenomena behind that? Whatever you have designed your new algorithm, you obtain your result right here. Then based on the population size, whatever the population you have taken to compute this population is, that is a starting point. Consider this same starting point and implementing the PSO algorithms on this starting point, then compute the results. You can't say that if the one paper has already published the results on a PSO, what you can do is you can define the new algorithms and present the result here. The comparison is unfair. Why? You don't know what is the starting point of these algorithms. Say This is the starting, this is the optimal solution. If you start from here, what will happen? You will reach to the global, you will reach to the optimal solution in a very less time. But if somebody start from here, they will reach at this point, will take a definitely larger time than of this. So the first step is you have to start the starting point of the PSO, genetic, whatever the others are there, it should be the same. Then only the fair comparison will be there. So if you want to apply this, there is no need to apply on the F1, F2, F3 or the welding beam problems are there. You can define your own problem, like your research problems are there. And on this, you have to apply the PSO, genetic, ABC, Firefly, and many more algorithms, and then compare their computational complexity and their time consuming. Then only the comparison is fair, otherwise not comparison fair.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Oh, welcome. Is any other question, please? So if you want to listen this lecture again, you can I have already uploaded this my lecture in a brief on my YouTube channel. So if you want to see this lecture and the MATLAB codes or the working of this Firefly algorithm, you can see my channel Dr. Harish Garg on the YouTube. You will find the various MATLAB codes of these algorithms.
I have a question that if you can please show any application, means any application, and how that Firefly is applied on that particular application domain. Because these parameters are okay, but when we go on actual designing of our domain, that is somewhat problem. So if you can take some simple application and how it is applied.
Application means you can consider any of the
let's say we take simple this load balancing domain application itself.
Okay, so you want, I have taken one objective function and see how it works.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let me just open, just wait for 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Now you can see, is again the screen is visible working on the Firefly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can see, for example, here, you can replace whatever your function with the help of here. Okay, so you can replace either on the load Carlo problem, design problem, whatever are there. Also, according to your own objective function, this -5 + 5 is also be changed. Okay. So how you can solve this problem? So again, I can quickly skip all these are there. Now you can see here. So in order to understand these algorithms, I can simply take one of the arbitrary parameters are there. I can set the population size as a 5, but whenever you are working on the research, you have to set as a 500 or 100 or as large as you want. So what you can do is, since I set as a 5 as an initial parameter, so you have to firstly construct these 5 initial parameters. So you can consider this as a random between your domain -5 to +5. So I can choose on this as a random number. Once you choose at a random number, then you have to construct your whatever the objective function you have in your research. So I can get these objective values. My objective is the minimization. So which is the minimum is? Here is a minimum. It means this is my best value so far, but this is not the optimal value. So how you can solve them? You can see how many particles are there. There are the 5 particles. I can explain for the first firefly only. To which direction this firefly will move, either x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. Since my position is minimum, so this firefly will move which has the lighter.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sir, like every function is there, x1, x square, that equation, I understood that thing that we have to do like that. But my question is, any application domain, like in the load balancing, we may have several machine and the load comes, then it should go to which machine. That is the practical application. So we have to formulate this optimization function according to our when we are according to our expertise, that function, because x1 plus x2, this is directly given. If it is given, then we can directly apply, and whatever is there in the slide, we can do that thing. But to make that objective function, that is the my problem.
Making the objective function, that's a part of the mathematical modeling. Because once you will apply the soft computing or this bio-inspired algorithm, first thing is that you have the objective function. That is, you have to do the mathematical modeling. Mathematical modeling is a separate thing.
Okay. So first understanding the problem and then making that function, and then we can apply in this.
No. Firstly, you have to do the mathematical modeling of your problem. Once you will get the mathematical modeling, you will get something. Okay, that result of the problem. So once you will get the output of the mathematical modeling, that is, you will construct the model. Now look about the nature of the model, whether it's highly complex, it consists of so many dimensions, then you can look for the soft computing techniques, because you are unable to solve it manually. So firstly, you look about the mathematical modeling part.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Someone have the contact details of the organizer?
Yes, Dr. Harish. Is the lecture over?
Yes.
Okay. So participants, any further questioning if anyone wants? It was very interactive session actually.
Question answer was also over.
Okay, okay. Very nice. Okay, thank you, Dr. Harish, for being with us. And I am sure that the participants, they have been enlightened by the knowledge of this Firefly algorithm, and it will be useful to them. So it was proposed around 2005 or 6, I think,
2008.
2008. Okay, and still it is very useful.
Yes.
Because as you have explained, that in some of the terminal cases, it reduces to the PSO and other algorithms. So basically, this is giving a broad spectrum to the algorithm. Very nice coverage, Dr. Harish. And we are thankful that you have spared your time for our FDP. So in future also, we shall be in touch. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
So participants, we will be stopping here and we will start the next session at 12 p.m. today.